Rubber burning engine screaming, it's a madhouse. Hypershift racing, every driver wild and riled out. Peacemaker broadcast, a crowd tuned in tight, watching steel beasts fight under stadium lights. Pedal to the floor, we ain't pumping no brakes. Speed demons in the zone, leaving fire in their wake. On the edge of chaos, ain't no room to fake. Peacemaker screens lit for the glory we take. Tires spinning rhythm, a dangerous ballet. Hypershift gladiators in an asphalt ballet. Drafted on the curves, it's a calculated gamble. One wrong move leaves your dreams dismantled. Crowd roaring, engines roaring, echoes break the sky. Broadcast live for the legends who never fear to fly. Checker flags beckon, it's the road we obey. Adrenaline profits, in the fast lane we stay. Pedal to the floor, we ain't pumping no brakes. Speed demons in the zone, leaving fire in their wake. On the edge of chaos, ain't no room to fake. Peacemaker screens lit for the glory we take. Pedal to the floor, we ain't pumping no brakes. Speed demons in the zone, leaving fire in their wake. On the edge of chaos, ain't no room to fake. Peacemaker screens lit for the glory we take. Time spinning rhythm, a tempo, the glory we take. Time spinning rhythm, a tempo, the glory we take. Tire spinning rhythm, a dangerous ballet. Hypershift gladiators in an asphalt ballet. Drafted on the curves, it's a calculated gamble. One wrong move leaves your dreams dismantled. Crowd roaring, engines roaring, echoes break the sky. Broadcast live for the legends who never fear to fly. Checker flags beckon, it's the road we obey. Adrenaline profits, in the fast lane we stay. Pistons pump like heartbeats, it's mechanical insanity. Hypershift warriors bending physics with calamity. Peacemaker feeds a frenzy to every fan's delight. When the lead's in the zone, it's a glorious fight. Pedal to the floor, we ain't pumping no brakes. Speed demons in the zone, leaving fire in their wake. On the edge of chaos, ain't no room to fake. Peacemaker screens lit for the glory we take. Time spinning rhythm, a tempo, the glory we take. Time spinning rhythm, a tempo, the glory we take.
Woo! Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome in as we get ready to rock and roll here this evening from Bristol. Baby, it's Bristol Motor Speedway here this evening as it is the BuyNobleAmerican.com 133 here from Bristol. As we see the 99 right out there on the racetrack, all these drivers getting their last few moments here of the practice session in before qualifying gets underway. And then these drivers will have the opportunity, they'll have the chance to try to jump out there, lay down some quick times, lay down the fast time here and see if they can start their day off on the right foot. Is this going to draw a big crowd? A lot of drivers again here this afternoon, looking at 30 plus drivers trying to qualify, trying to work themselves into victory lane here this evening. One of them already up there looking to be in victory lane. Unfortunately, this is pre-race and doesn't count as much as the same as post-race, as the Valvoline 28 ride Timothy Watson. He wants to be up here. He wants to claim this spot as his position out there this afternoon, as right now he's quickest in qualifying and also up there in that Bass Pro Shops victory lane here at Bristol Motor Speedway. Gavin Grubbs rolls out there in that beautiful PPG Menards number 12 ride, rolling out there currently fourth fastest. Chase Abel in that Noble American number 7 ride, always looking good out there on the speedway. And a huge shout again to our sponsors here this afternoon. The BuyNobleAmerican.com 133 wouldn't be possible. It wouldn't be a thing without our amazing sponsors over at BuyNobleAmerican.com. So guys, make sure you guys check them out. Jump over there and show them some love and check out some of the amazing gear, some of the amazing stuff that they have up for grabs for everyone here in the comment section. As ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, qualifying coming to a close here, and for these drivers, that means they got to make sure that their cars are absolutely picture perfect and ready to roll here for this feature event. But qualifying coming up, this is where it could be make or break out there on the speedway. Speedway as the W Energy 88 ride upside down in victory lane. That's definitely not the spot you want to be. You want to be in victory lane, but you don't want to be upside down in victory lane. You want to be on all four tires and burning down the house there in our Bristol Motor Speedway victory lane here this evening. As you see Chase Abel, he's getting his last little bit of laps in there. As there we go, the checkered flag is out and practice is going to come to a close. So qualifying about to begin, and this is where it could be a make or break scenario for a lot of these drivers. A good lap, a good qualifying effort here could set the stage all evening long for potentially putting yourself up and into victory lane. As Denver Henderson, what's good, Denver? Denver coming in with the like on the stream. Hypershift Racing League coming in with that like and the share, and our fellas over at 213 Simware coming in with that like and the share as well. As we get ready to go to battle, we get ready to duke it out here in this one. Man, this is going to be a blast. This is going to be a great show. Bristol, always so fun, always such a great track, and seeing these drivers jump out there for their qualifying session is going to be a lot of fun to see who can try to find that speed and put themselves into that pole position here this evening. Right now, it is Timothy Watson with the quick time out there on the speedway. Belton going to slide in behind him with Al Likens right there as well. And that beautiful Napa Auto Parts 100-year anniversary paint scheme here with that beautiful Chase Elliott paint scheme out there for Likens. Belton is going to jump back up into second here, but now we're going to see Al Likens jump to the pole. Likens with a great lap, and he'll jump into the top spot, knocking Timothy Watson back into position number 2. Corey Denk up and into third here as the blowin' cider. I don't know if I like that name. I like it, but I don't like it. Corey Denk up and into position number 1 out in this one. A great lap right there, and he's our new pole sitter here this evening, as we do see Scott Shive out there on the racetrack. Shive in that Podium Esports machine up into position number 8 as of right now. He'll look to find a little bit of extra speed there. Unfortunately, not going to find it. Now has a couple other drivers jumping up in front of him. That is the Tom's Tasty Taters and Walleye Fish Sandwiches number 36. That is the 2430 ride of Gage Wenzel. Wenzel up into position number 2 here. Looks like that is going to be his lap, and he'll get ready to try to start from second spot here this evening. Jonathan Cogswell, another good qualifying effort here for that 84 ride as he jumps up into position number 5. So right now it's Corey Denk, Gage Wenzel, Al Likens, Timothy Watson, and Jonathan Cogswell. Our top 5 here in qualifying. We see Anthony Ludi a little farther back there in that beautiful Adidas 95 ride. Always looking fresh out there on the racetrack. Always looking fresh in that Adidas machine. As the Walmart 99 ride, Tyler Chronister, he's up into 14th. He'll take his car back down pit road as the W Energy 88 rider Christopher James qualifies back in 19th. Not the qualifying effort that Christopher James, Aaron Spear, or Kent Mueller were hoping for, as we're still waiting for a few other drivers to jump out onto the racetrack. One of those being this rogue number 51 ride. It's Zach Wilson. Wilson looking to try to lay down a quick time here this afternoon. See if he can jump up into the top spot as he loses the rear end coming out of corner number 4 right there. Unfortunate break for him, and I do believe that is going to nullify his first lap. As look at the damage off that 51 machine. That's what happens when you get onto the throttle. You get out on the gas a little too soon, trying to push that throttle down a little too hard, and unfortunately just spins those rear tires, knocks that rear end loose, and around he goes. And unfortunately, that is going to set him back here. He'll have to look for another good lap as he gets things reset. Looks to wound up that speed in the 51 ride, looking for a big run down the front straightaway down to corner number 1. He's got to hit his marks. Got to have a perfect run here, as it looks like he is going to pull it down to the inside. They are not going to allow him there. Only one lap here for qualifying, and unfortunately for Zach Wilson, that's going to put him deep in the field, as we're still waiting for Brad Fulham to jump out to qualify here. We haven't seen Fulham, Brian Fine, Max Cost, Chase Abel, Gavin Grubbs, J.J. Moore, Michael Sheffield, Zach Wilson, or Dylan Picklesheimer lay down a lap here this evening out of our 30-car field. Here we go. You do see the 21 ride starting to roll out onto the racetrack. We'll see if he can get a lap in before this qualifying session comes to a close. as my boy Adam Oxley. What's good, Adam? Adam coming in, showing the love, that like on the stream. What's good, Mr. Oxley? How are you doing this afternoon? How was your Thursday? Hopefully you're having yourself a wonderful day. There's only one more day to go until the weekend, baby. And trust me, I can't wait for a weekend. It feels like I've been going non-stop for the last couple weeks here. And, man, a nice little weekend is going to be very, very nice. And I got to check my schedule, too. I don't even know if we got things going on Sunday. With it being Mother's Day, I'm assuming I got some broadcasts, but I'm not 100% sure. I'll have to take a look and see if there's something going on, if we got something happening. Let me check here. Do we have anything? What is Sunday? That would be April the 13th? No. Yes? Friday's the 9th. 10th is Saturday. That's Sunday the 11th of April? Yeah, I'm getting my dates all mixed up. Or we're in May, aren't we? Yeah, we're in May. Oh my gosh, we're in May already, ladies and gentlemen. I thought we were still in April. What in the fluff? We're still in April. Okay, so my early morning shift, my early one is A-okay. We don't have anything there. What about the afternoon? Do we got anything going on here? This is something that's crossed my mind here. May 11th. I do have a race. Okay, so we do have a race in the afternoon. Early on, though, nothing, so that's good. I mean, I can go spend some time with my mother, and hopefully everyone else does as well, and has themselves a wonderful Mother's Day as we get ready to race here this afternoon as qualifying coming to a close. Drivers now loading into the sim, each and every one of them looking for the win here this evening. As ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, this is going to be a lot of fun. As Sean O'Keefe says, go number 36, go get him. And Chris Sofeld says, if you can refresh paints, I changed mine. Oh gosh, I normally hate doing this during a stream, but we'll do it just for you, Sofeld. We'll do it just for you, brother. We'll get it changed up here and see if they even changed it or not. Let's take a look here. There we go. We do see that Caliber Collision's number 11 right there. That beautiful looking machine out there on the speedway, ready to go to battle as the monster machine gets ready to rock and roll all the way back in that 16th position. It's starting on the pole in the Blow Insider, number 17 machine. I can't argue it because it could be a real name for a company, but my gosh, it sounds way too dirty. The Blow Insider, number 17, right? Corey Denk is going to start in the top spot. To his outside, it's Gage Wenzel. They were in second with Timothy Watson back in position number 4. He'll have Al Likens down to his inside, starting there in third. Starting in position number 5 in the 84 ride is Jonathan Cogswell with Jack Simpson there to his outside. And then we see Daryl Johnson in the 94 ride. That is Adam Bounton rounding out our top 8. Starting in 9th, it's Brad Fulham in that 21 ride. To his outside rounding out our top 10 is Jeremiah Nelson. And then we see the number 77 of Dalton Wicker there in his tiny toes, number 77 right back there in 11th. James Hudson, Scott Shive, Anthony Ludy, Tyler Chronister, Michael Carter, Jaden Newson, Chris Sofeld, Drew King, and Christopher James running out our top 20 as we will end all the anticipation with our feature presentation here from Bristol Motor Speedway. It's Bristol, baby, and each and every one of these drivers looking to try to put themselves up and into victory lane here this evening. 250 laps of racing action here this evening from the amazing, the last great Colosseum at Bristol Motor Speedway. It's Bristol, baby, and boy, oh boy, it's going to be a fun one. It could be a lot of chaos. It could be nothing but good, hard, clean racing is out in front early on, taking that race lead and looking to try to run away with it. It is Gage Wenzel. Wenzel at the front of the field is the Toms, Tasty Taters, and Walleye Fish Sandwiches, number 36 ride, continues to lead the way. As the Blow Likens back there in 4th with Timothy Watson rounding out our top 5. The 84 machine, that 44 Farms, number 84. It's Jonathan Cogswell. Cogswell slides back to 6th, but now looking to jump back into that 5th position as he does jump up into position number 5 here in this one. And some great racing action early on here this evening. Each and every one of these competitors doing a fantastic job. Some absolutely amazing racing already here this evening. As out in front, it is that number 36, Gage Wenzel, who just laid down the quick time of this race. He's got that clean air. He's got no traffic in front of him, no drivers battling around him. And for this number 36, he's able to jump out in front and now lay down some very quick lap times, looking to just continue to stretch out that lead between himself and Corey Dank. As Jack Simpson, Al Likens right there, nose to tail. Here comes Cogswell as well, trying to poke his nose into that battle for that 3rd and 4th position on the racetrack. Watson still trying to hang on to position number 6 here is Daryl Johnson, looking to try to take it away from him. Johnson working that outside lane. Looks like he will just edge out in front and steal position number 6 away from Watson, as Watson early on here sliding in the wrong direction and going backwards there with that Helveline 28 machine. James Hudson there in 8th with Dalton Wicker up and into position number 9 on the racetrack. Tyler Chronister back in position number 10. Chronister working his way up and through the field right now. One of our hard chargers up 5 positions on the racetrack for that Walmart number 99 ride. Adam Bempton down a few spots there in 11th with Jaden Newson also up 5 spots on the racetrack. Here is the 2430 number 40 ride. The Canadian Racing Machine up into position number 12 is Jeremiah Nelson. One of those Monster Energy rides rolls there in 13th. Brad Fulham there in 14th with Anthony Ludi rounding out our top 15. Then we see Chris Sofeld and Dylan Picklesheimer. Picklesheimer in that beautiful, Tyler Reddick paint scheme there. The Monster Energy Jordan number 45 ride up 8 positions. Now one of our hard chargers out there on the racetrack is he's got Zach Wilson down to his inside. Now Wilson, Picklesheimer, and this number 1 of Sheffield all started deeper in the field, and they are starting to work themselves up and through the front of the pack here as they are now inside the top 20 and looking to continue to march their way up towards the top 10. Aaron Spear there in 20th here. Rounding out our top 20 is Max Koss right behind him. Brian Fine, unfortunately, a little farther back is the Logan Strong number 57 ride. Rolls there in 22nd. Scott Shive and Michael Carter both early on, down quite a few positions. Down 7 spots for Michael Carter. Down 11 positions here for Scott Shive. The 88 ride, Christopher James also down 5 positions on the racetrack as he's got Chase Abel now working to his outside. Here comes Gavin Grubbs, Drew King, Kent Mueller. Rounding out our top 29 is J.J. Moore, who was supposed to be out there on the racetrack as our 30th driver here this evening. Unfortunately, he did not load up and join us here on the racetrack as of yet this afternoon. As out in front, Gage Wenzel continues to lead the way. Wenzel out in front, but quickly he'll be rolling into some of that lap traffic. Not too far in front of our race leader, and that's where things can get very, very interesting. About a straightaway here between first and our last place driver back here in 29th, that DHL number 8 machine. It is virtually that back straightaway right there. You get a great look at it and great grasp of how close he is as you see the battle continuing to brew back here for position number 2 as Corey Denk looking to try to hang on to it in that number 9, Al Likens trying to take second away from him. And some great racing early on here this evening. Drivers doing a fantastic job just laying down some great laps out there on the racetrack and continue to battle hard here this evening as, man, oh man, it's been a wild one, man. We've seen some drivers really move up through the field. Some other drivers really, unfortunately, fall backwards, and this is a racetrack where you do not want to be moving in the wrong direction. If you continue to slide farther and farther back, you're getting closer and closer to potentially going a lap down here, and unfortunately, you can go multiple laps down before you even know it here at Bristol Motor Speedway, and right now, Kent Mueller could be the first driver to go a lap down here this evening as he battles right here with Drew King. Him and Drew King door to door as I think Mueller starts to see our race leader in his rear view mirror and knows that he's got to really start getting onto the lap pedal here and look to try to pull away. Scott Shive continues his slide backwards here in that podium 81 ride. And Shive all the way back now into 28th, but there's the caution flag. Caution flag will be displayed here in this one. So our first caution flag of the day, I do believe that is our I don't know if that was our stage break. I feel like that was our stage break. Let me double check it here. No, we don't do stages. We don't do stages. So what was this caution flag for? That was a bit of a question mark one. I didn't see anyone really run into issues or any drivers turned around here. Everyone seemed to be pointed in the right direction. Didn't see any contact, any drivers losing an abundance of positions in a quick hurry, but we do see that caution flag fly. Take a look here at maybe Tyler Chronister. Did Chronister maybe run into some issues here in this 99 machine? That's potentially what we see as the Walmart 99 sends it down and into the corner. Oh, there's some smoke in front of him. Oh, look out, it's Daryl Johnson. Daryl Johnson and the 28 rider Timothy Watson potentially getting some damage here out of this one. Now, they were able to keep themselves rolling on the racetrack and didn't lose too many positions, but we're going to see some contact right here. Looks like the 4 just trying to pinch that 28 ride down low. I'm not sure if he thought he was clear right there, but unfortunately was not clear of that front nose of that 28 ride, and he gets sideways up. The racetrack gets slow there on the speedway, and quickly they throw that caution flag, and that was a good break. There was a lot of drivers coming in there with a big head of steam. Luckily enough, no one else got tied up into it. No one else got some heavy damage out of it, except for really the 4 ride with a little bit of left rear damage, a little worn out tires, and then some contact here for the 28 as unfortunately here for Timothy Watson, fast car, fast ride, and right here he's going to get tagged and then bounces it up off the fence, and some pretty solid damage there for that Halloween machine as he is down pit side looking to get that thing repaired and try to get that thing fixed up. You also see the 81 ride. Scott Scheif also down pit road. Scheif getting some changes, trying to get this car fixed up and rolling again out there on the speedway. We see Brian Fine back down pit road. Timothy Watson still getting his car repaired here as we'll get them all stacked up, racked up, ready to go back to green flag racing as Gage Wenzel continues to lead the way. Wenzel out in front, showing these drivers how to get it done here in this one as Bones does. What's good, Bones? Bones says, hello, race fans. What's good, Bones? How are you this evening, brother? As Linda O'Keefe says, show them how it's done, Gage. And Lot 49 Music says 77. Let's get it, Lot Music. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. As Christina also says, number 36. Let's go. Number 36. Let's go, baby. Let's go. Everyone cheering on. Gage Wenzel is right now. He is the class of the field out in front. He's led every lap since that green flag, and he's ready to go back to battle. He's ready to try to hit a perfect restart and keep all these drivers still, again, back there behind him as here we go. Nice and easy down through corner number 4, and there's that green flag quickly back into the air. A great launch and a great jump right there for Gage Wenzel, and quickly his teammate, Jack Simpson, going to take advantage of that one. He moves right on and around Corey Dent. Corey slides all the way back into third, and Simpson joins his 24-30 teammate here at the front of the field. A little farther back, you do see that beautiful Lot 49 Music machine. That is that 77 rider Dalton Wicker. Brand new paint scheme here for Wicker this afternoon, and man, oh man, that is a beautiful looking machine out there on the speedway. The Under Pressure Lot 49. Number 77 rolling perfectly out there on the speedway. Love that blue, love that color on the 77 ride, and he continues to look to slide his way closer and closer to the front of the field. Up 4 positions early on, now sits there in 7th as it is elbows up racing. Each and every one of these drivers giving it everything they got out there on the racetrack. As Gage Wenzel continues to lead the way here. Half a second between himself and Jack Simpson as there's the caution flag. Caution flag will come back out here in this one. Now, I'm not sure, again, it's not showing me what the caution flag was for. We see everyone pretty much pointing in the right direction here. A little slower, a little farther back, we do see the 99 rider. Oh, there we go. You see Brian Fine up and into the outside fence right here. Maybe a little contact between him and this number 28 machine. And that's exactly where we're going to see this caution flag come back out. His contact right here. Boom. Into that left rear quarter panel. Gets him sideways up and into the outside fence. Pretty good damage there for the 57. Pretty good damage for the number 28 right again at Timothy Watson. And unfortunately here, we're going to see this number 99 rider, Tyler Chronister. Chronister nowhere to go here. He's going to get hooked and actually ends up into the outside fence right here. Some pretty good damage for the 99 riders right there. It's Scott Scheif who ends up getting a piece of him here. Chronister is getting onto the binders here. He's trying to get this thing checked up and load up, and unfortunately for Scott Shive, does not check up as much as he does, and right here going to get into that back bumper, right into that more of the right rear quarter panel, kind of just hooks him and turns him up into the outside fence. Pretty heavy front end damage there for the Walmart machine as the Chronic Pond number 99 ride. Gonna have to go down pit side, look to get some repairs and try to get that car fixed up and back out there onto the racetrack. We see Brian Fine. He's down pit road. He's trying to get that car repaired as Scott Shive back down pit lane himself. He's once again trying to get this car figured out. He's been having a rough go, a tough sled here this afternoon, and hoping to just try to get this thing figured out and pointed back in the right direction, trying to see if he can work his way back up towards the top 10, top 15, top 20 out there on the racetrack, because right now he's hanging out way deeper in the field. So we'll get them stacked up, we'll get them racked up, and we will get ready to try it all over again here this evening, as out in front it is a pair of the 2430 Ryan's teammates here at the front of the field. The Tom's Tasty Taters and Walleye Fish Sandwiches, number 36 of Gage Wenzel, leads the way here. He's the control car on this restart. His teammate Jack Simpson there in that RaceEPI.com number 24 ride will start there in position number 2. The Blow Insider, number 17 of Corey Tank, there in third with Al Likens in that Napa Auto Parts 100-year anniversary golden paint scheme there in position number 4. James Hudson with another strong run here in that Monster Energy number 2 machine as he jumps up inside the top 5 with Jonathan Cogswell. Dalton Wicker, Adam Boughton, the 45 of Dylan Picklesheimer, that 21 of Brad Fulham, rounding out our top 10 as here we go, back to Green Flag Racing. Another great restart there for the 36. Gage Wenzel able to just use that top spot here to his advantage. That control car on these restarts, able to launch and basically navigate how these restarts are going to play out. And for the 36 ride, he's kept these drivers on their tippy toes. No one's really got a good jump with them and hung with them out there on the racetrack, and he's able to open up a pretty sizable lead again on that restart. A few tenths already between himself and his teammate Jack Simpson, and Simpson trying to hang on to position number 2 as Al Likens has now worked himself up and into third here after sliding around Corey Dank. So Corey slides back into fourth with Cogswell back up inside the top 5, and here comes Dylan Picklesheimer and Dalton Wicker as the 77 ride in position number 7 in that lot 49 machine up and in that 7th spot, and he is not done yet. He's looking to try to find his way around Picklesheimer. Picklesheimer has worked his way from deep in this field and now up towards the front of the pack as he started all the way back, I do believe, in the 25th position, and now moving around that 84 ride will put him into the top 5. He's now up 20 spots on the racetrack from 25th up into 5th, and he is not done yet. Picklesheimer seems to have a very fast car and definitely played a little bit of the strategy early in this race. Took it easy, tried to protect those tires, and now he's got some very good tires out there on the racetrack, and he's looking to take advantage of it and see if he can try to race his way up to the front of the field as the caution flag will come back out, and some issues for the 11 of Chris Zofeld. Zofeld, the 35, and the 4, Daryl Johnson, all going to get tied up here in this one. Let's take a look and see what happens and what brings out our third caution flag of the day. Is 3-wide racing here at Bristol Motor Speedway, and unfortunately down into corner number 1. The 11 ride just having to move up the racetrack. He gets a shot right there on the shorts from the 4 machine of Daryl Johnson, and Johnson and the 11, they get tied together. I believe that's the 51 ride. Who's end up going to get a piece of the 4 machine here, help him go around, but I don't think he was expecting all these guys to be checked up so much, and unfortunately really nowhere for him to go, trying to move down in underneath of that carnage there. Unfortunately, he's going to get a piece of it. Hard contact down to the inside fence there for Chris Zofeld. Pretty solid damage there for the number 4 ride of Daryl Johnson, as well as each and every one of these drivers just trying to navigate their way through there. And then you see the 35. I do believe he's going to get hit here as well, or just gets onto the binders too much and locks him up, loses control. That 35 ride Woo, baby! Luckily enough, he stops that Monster Energy ride from heavy contact into the inside fence or any of these other drivers out there on the racetrack. And no harm, no foul. Doesn't give up too much track position, and he'll get ready to rock and roll here once again as we do see that 51 of Zach Wilson headed down pit side, letting the crew go to work trying to get this thing fixed up and back out there. As right now, it is Gage Wenzel who continues to lead the way. Wenzel out in front here in this one, as it's been a little bit of a the domino effect out there, 100%, Bones, 100%, a little bit of domino effect out there. As my boy Craig Michael Deacon, what's good, Craig? Craig coming in, showing the love with that like on that stream. How are you, Mr. Deacon? Craig coming in, smashing that thumbs up here on the broadcast as each and every one of these drivers ready to go back to battle, ready to duke it out here again this evening, as already about 50 laps into this race. We're clicking them down in a quick hurry here this evening. The laps are just flying off the board, and with virtually 200 laps left to go here in this race, it's still anybody's race. We haven't really seen pit strategies be played out. We haven't really seen different issues or anything else arise at the front of the field, so we're going to have to wait and see how these strategies are going to play out for drivers. When do they come down pit side? Do they give up a ton of track position, or do they try to wait for a big group and a lot of these drivers to come down pit road? And do you get hurt when you come down for a green flag pit stop here? A green flag pit stop, you can easily go 2-3 laps down in a quick heartbeat, and if there's a caution flag during green flag pit stops, that could unfortunately set you back into a hole that you may not be able to dig out of. So you're going to be very careful on when you have to come down pit side, and using these caution flags, even though you give up that track position, sometimes just saving yourself from potentially getting stuck in that lap down situation on a caution flag during green flag pit stops could be the make or break of your day. As out in front, Gage Wenzel with another great restart, quickly back onto the lap battle here in this one is Jack Simpson there in second. Al Likens hanging on to third as here comes Dylan Picklesheimer. Now Picklesheimer was down pit road on lap number 27 here, so he came down pit road, and I do believe he got fuel and potentially tires onto this 45 ride, and that's really where he's finding this extra speed and just driving up here through the field, and now battling for the race lead here this evening, as we did see Chris Sofeld run into some more issues here. Sofeld running into some more problems. He's slow on the racetrack. He's trying to get that thing figured out and rolling here once again. Zach Wilson still down pit road as well in the 51 machine. Same with Brian Fine in that 57. So a tough break there for Fine and Zach Wilson. Here comes Brian Fine rolling back out onto the racetrack. We'll see if he can rejoin the field here without bringing out the caution flag, and looks like he's going to be able to do so perfectly and get that 57 ride rolling once again here this evening. Unfortunately now multiple laps down as Gage Wenzel out in front, continuing to lead this race, but right there behind him it's Dylan Picklesheimer. Picklesheimer looking to try to take this race lead away from the 36 ride. The first driver here this evening that's going to be able to make a pass potentially here on our race leader is Wenzel. Down across the line will lead another lap here this evening. Some absolutely amazing racing here at the front of the field as Picklesheimer looking to try to take advantage of maybe some fresher tires and extra fuel into the tank of that 45 ride, and seeing if he can jump up and steal this race lead. But Gage Wenzel just showing you how good his car is, how fast that number 36 ride car is, as he's just been able to hang on and try to hold off that 45 ride. But finally he will slip up and give up that race lead as Dylan Picklesheimer, our new race leader here at Bristol Motor Speedway. With that 36, Gage Wenzel says, I'm not done yet, but Picklesheimer looking to just close the door and slide up and clear him here, but they're still side by side here at the front of the field. 27 lap different tires here, and for the 45 ride, man, he's been putting on a heck of a show, driving up through the traffic and up to the front of the field, and now looking to just stay here at the front of the pack. But man, it seemed like Gage Wenzel had something left in the tank here, and he is not holding back anymore. He's got some good tires under him, and he's laying down some great lap times, even though he was at the front of the field leading this race, and figured he was burning up his equipment more than everybody else. But there he goes. He's just going to drive up and around that 45 ride. Picklesheimer unfortunately going to slide all the way back again into second as Gage Wenzel back out in front, allow that 45 to lead a few laps, and now slide back into position number 2 is Jack Simpson trying to hang right there with them both. Unfortunately, he's falling farther farther and farther behind our top two cats on the racetrack. Al Likens there in fourth with Brad Fulham with a great run here for Fulham. He's up now into position number 5 as Tyler Chronister up and into 6th. Corey Tank there in 7th. Jake Sable up into that 8th position as the Noble American number 7 ride up 21 positions, rolling there in that 8th spot on the Speedway. Basically started at the back of the pack here this evening, and for the Noble American ride to pick up the by NobleAmerican.com 133 checkered flag here this evening would be a heck of a thing to see this Noble American ride to jump up, maybe even just back into the broadcast booth, but maybe up and into victory lane here in another by NobleAmerican.com sponsored race. As the 7 machine looks to the outside, trying to figure out a way to get around Corey Dank there, as Corey hanging on to that 7th position, as here comes Michael Sheffield, that 28 of Timothy Watson. We do see Jaden Newson, Aaron Spear, Jeremiah Nelson back there in 13th, Dalton Wicker there in 14th with Ken Mueller, James Hudson, Gavin Grubbs, Daryl Johnson, Anthony Ludi, and Max Koss rounding out our top 10. And some great racing action right here, as you do see that 51 ride as Zach Wilson roll back out onto the racetrack. So good to see Wilson gets his car repaired and jumps back out there onto the Speedway. We do see Chris Zofeld still down pit sign, but some great racing here deeper in the field, door to door, elbows up, battling here on the racetrack. And as they continue to battle, they continue to give up time to our race leaders here, as Gage Wenzel quickly trying to hunt them down. He would love to try to work through some of this traffic, start to lay down a lot of good, hard green flag laps, and continue to move these drivers a lap down, multiple laps down, and maybe even 3 or 4 laps down, where all of a sudden they're into such a difficult position where even if we do see an abundance of caution flags again, that they will not be able to recover. They will not be able to get the wave arounds or the caution flags and the lucky dogs that they need to try to race their way back onto the lead lap. If you can put enough of these drivers a lap down, it could become a very real picture here. We've seen races before here at Bristol where we only have, our top 10, top 5 drivers left on the lead lap, and everybody else is at least a lap or multiple laps down back there behind our top 5. So it could be another race just like that. If we see a long green flag run, if we see green flag pit stops where drivers make mistakes, have penalties, and everything else, it could make or break their day here this evening. As once again we see these two duking it out at the front of the field. Gage Wenzel, Dylan Picklesheimer side by side here for the race lead. Gage Wenzel does not want to give it up, and Dylan Picklesheimer wants to take it back away as they're door to door down through quarter number 3 and 4, and back down across the line. They will click off another lap, and it is Picklesheimer back out in front. So Picklesheimer here in this one, as Bones says, how far can they go on a tank of fuel? That is a good question. That's a good question. I'm honestly not too sure. Well, we've seen about 75 laps of this race completed here, but we have had about 3 or 4 caution flags where there was probably about 3 to 4, caution laps there for each of those. So virtually probably about 55-60 laps of green flag racing on this tank of fuel right now for some of these drivers, where we've seen others head down pit road. There's only a few that haven't came down pit side yet today. That is Gage Wenzel, Jack Simpson. They have yet to pit here this evening. We haven't seen Al Likens down pit side or Brad Fulham. Corey Denk also has not came down pit road. Gavin Grubbs as well, still yet to come down pit side with Michael Carter, James Hudson, and I do believe it's Anthony Ludi at the pit here as well. Same with Adam Boughton and Dalton Wicker, or some of those drivers that are on the older tires, on the older equipment. Unfortunately, see them continue to slide farther and farther back, as you see the 77 right here of Dalton Wicker. Wicker is getting passed here by our race leaders, as Dylan Picklesheimer and Gage Wenzel now start to work themselves through some lap traffic. It's actually crazy how good Gage's tires still are out there on the racetrack, and how he's hanging on to position number 2. Even Jack Simpson, Al Likens, some of these guys hanging on, while other drivers with the older tires just continue to fall farther and farther back here in this one. As we already see Corey Tank back into 14th, we see more of these guys that were up at the front of the field that just went a lap down, like Adam Boughton, James Hudson in the 2 ride, the number 77 of Dalton Wicker. These guys not too long ago were up inside our top 10 and battling for what could have been a great day at the Speedway. Now going a lap down here in this race, and definitely not the spot you want to be, and it's continuing to fall farther and farther behind and still struggling out there on the racetrack. And without a caution flag, they may have to come down pit side and make a green flag pit stop where they could get cycled back through and around and unfortunately go even farther behind and maybe multiple laps down out there on the racetrack. As Dylan Picklesheimer out in front, continuing to lead the way, him and Gage Wenzel. I know both these drivers that have led laps here this evening, they love to see some of these drivers go a lap down. That gives them an extra little bit of an edge, a little bit of an upper hand here throughout this race. Even if a caution flag were to fly, these guys would start to have to worry about waiver rounds and potentially getting some lucky dogs, but I feel like these guys can probably make it, I'm going to say probably around 100 laps. I'm going to say somewhere around there. I wish it was probably more closer to 75 where we would see at least, 2 or 3 pit stops here, but I feel like it's probably going to be around a 100 lap run, especially with all those caution flags. So that's going to probably make it a 2-stop race here. We'll see these drivers probably come down pit road around lap number 100, and then we'll see, the next wave probably come down around 120-ish or so, and then again, we'll see them kind of split that final run, that 150 laps where they may go 75, 80, 90 laps, and then come back down pit side for their final pit stop where they know they're good on gas. They can make it the rest of the way. They'll get those fresh tires and keep on rolling out there, especially if we stay clean and green. They're going to be burning up all that fuel, and unfortunately for some drivers, the tire wear and everything else just sending them farther and farther behind. As now we do see Gavin Grubbs go a lap down here. Now Gavin is back in 23rd. The next driver to potentially go a lap down is this Coca-Cola number 18 right on Michael Carter. Carter not too far away from our race leader onto his back bumper. Same with Anthony Ludius. It's a bit of a dogfight still up here. You see the 63 of Max Koss, Ludi right there, that 34 of Drew King. Here's Daryl Johnson, Aaron Spear, Scott Shive, the 21 of Brad Fulham, all right there. A gang of cars out there on the racetrack, and as they battle door to door out there on the speedway, they continue to lose more and more time, continue to get slower and slower out there on the racetrack, and allowing our race leader Dylan Picklesheimer to inch closer and closer to them. As Dylan hit the strategy so far absolutely perfect, as this number 45 right out in front has a 2-second lead now between himself and the second place driver Gage Wenzel. As we do see the 51 ride turn around there on the racetrack. No caution flag as of yet. That's Zach Wilson pointed the wrong way here. Now if he rolls out onto the racetrack, it's probably going to pull the caution flag out. So hopefully we see this 51 just take this car down pit road, or just back it up and try to keep it on the apron, then get pointed and get rolling on the speedway here. But if he rolls out onto the racetrack, that could pull the yellow flag out here in a quick hurry. As there it is. Looks like he is going to tow. So he is going to tow that car back down pit road. Now that's a great break, as we won't get the yellow flag, and a heartbreaker there for the 28 machine. Already a tough day, already an extended period of time down pit road and getting that car fixed up, and now looks like he is taking it right down behind pit wall and back up onto the hauler. Heartbreaker there for that 51 machinist. Here we go, our race leader trying to get through that gang of cars here, looking to try to put a lot of our competitors a lap down out there on the racetrack, and now some of them going multiple laps down here, as that's Dalton Wicker now going 2 laps down out there on the racetrack, as our race leader goes right on around these guys, makes quick work of a lot of them, and puts even more drivers a lap down, as he's now working inside our top 20. Anthony Ludi, the next driver to potentially go a lap down, him and Brad Fulham door to door out there on the racetrack. You see Christopher James right there. Corey Danku qualified up towards the front of the field. He's about to go a lap down potentially out there on the speedway as well. So each and every one of these drivers, they are trying to hit their marks, trying to do everything they can to try to keep our race leader back there at bay, but I don't know how much they're going to be able to do, as we did see Adam Boughton, Evo, did take his car down pit road. It's heavy damage here for Evo, man. Heavy contact, heavy damage there for the 94 ride, and that car is absolutely destroyed, sitting down on pit road now. That's going to be down there for an extended period of time, as there goes our race leader, Dylan Picklesheimer. Around a bunch of more drivers, and has now put Corey Dink in that blow-in cider number 17 ride. Now, I still don't know if this is a real I don't know if this is still a real sponsor, a real company, but if it is absolutely hilarious. The Blow Insider, the Blow Insider is absolutely hilarious. Okay, I'm not gonna lie, that's a funny one. That is a good one right there, and it looks real. It looks like it could be a real cider. Maybe we don't got it up here in Canada. It's my boy Kevin O'Daly. What's good, O'Delsky? O'Delsky coming in, showing the love, not only with the like on the stream, but coming in with the big D of the day, the 50-star dono. Here in this one, the 50-star dono here this afternoon, showing the big love here in this one. I appreciate that, brother. Kev, he's got a massive schlong on that guy. Caught after the broadcast. Probably not tonight, Kev. Probably not tonight, brother. I'm probably going to go to bed soon as this one comes to an end, my boy. It's been a long day, man. I slammed probably, I don't even know, man, 1,000, 1,500 bags of soil and mulch and everything else. So my arms, my back, my shoulders, man, they are absolutely on fire. As here we go, the Blow Insider number 17 ride gonna head down pit road, and we're gonna continue to see more and more drivers head down pit side. We see Aaron Spear, Dalton Wicker now down pit side. They're looking to get some fresh tires and fuel into their rides, as it looks like right around that lap 100-ish area. These drivers had to come in and head down pit road. As Kev says, I'm off tomorrow. I could probably play tomorrow night, Kev. I could probably play tomorrow night after my broadcast tomorrow evening, but here tonight, probably a no-go. Probably a no-go. Is that Larson out there? I don't know. I think it is. I don't know. It's looking like Tyler Reddick out there in that 45 ride. Maybe Dylan Picklesheimer ended up getting a substitute driver here and actually put Reddick into the simulator and let him run here this afternoon. As boy, oh boy, oh boy, this 45 ride is rolling out there on the speedway. Rolling through a little bit of smoke right there, as it looks like the DHL number 8 ride of Kent Mueller running into some problems here. Able to keep that car pointed in the right direction, though. Does have some pretty heavy rear end damage, and looks like he'll take that car down pit road. No caution flag on the racetrack. We keep it clean and green. As out in front, Dylan Picklesheimer now only has 11 drivers left on the lead lap. As there is the caution flag. Caution flag will come out here in this one. A great green flag run. These drivers doing a fantastic job out there on the speedway. Some absolutely amazing racing, and unfortunately, oh, this is a tough one right here. Having a great start to this afternoon. Unfortunately, just trying to get these tire pressures built up in that Blow Insider number 17 ride. Looks like he's going to lose the rear end down the front straightaway. Tries to correct it, overcorrects, gets up into the outside fence. And then Anthony Ludi going to get a big piece of him right there and pointing the wrong direction. Parked there on the speedway. That will bring out the caution flag, I do believe, for the 4th or 5th time here this afternoon. As a few early caution flags, that good green flag run. And then now we get another yellow flag out here on the speedway. Now this is going to shape things up very interestingly, as we're going to see pretty much everybody come down pit side. I don't think anyone stays out there. Everyone's got to head down pit road here. There we go. There is Dylan Picklesheimer. Max Cost looks like he's going to head down pit road. Here comes Gage Wenzel down pit side. Timothy Watson, Al Likens, Jack Simpson. So many of these other drivers headed down to their pit stalls, looking to get some repairs, looking to get their cars pointed back in the right direction, and hoping to just get some grip level back up and underneath of them here, where they can start to roll some good laps out there on the speedway. Because unfortunately, a lot of drivers did go a lap or multiple laps down out there on the racetrack. We did see Jonathan Cogswell. He was right there, potentially about to go a lap down. Some of these other drivers were so close to going a lap down, and we'll see who gets the lucky dog and who gets the opportunity to get back on the lead lap, or who can take some waiver rounds to put themselves back into the action here this evening. Is out in front, leading the way. It is the number 45 ride of Dylan Picklesheimer, but Picklesheimer down on the apron here. A bunch of drivers going around him. Maybe a pit road penalty here for the 45 ride. We'll have to keep an eye on it here as he's down on the apron. There's a lot of drivers rolling around him here. Potentially Gage Wenzel going to inherit the race lead once again this afternoon. We'll have to keep a close eye on it here in this one. As Dragon 1 Brat says, what up, mate? How's it going? How's it going, Dragon Brat? How you doing this afternoon? Coming in with the hydrate. Oh, baby. We'll hydrate here. We got the monster roll, we get the monster rolling here. Little rehab peach tea. Oh, baby. It is so good. Oh, yeah, that is refreshing. That is refreshing. Hope you're good. I'm always doing good, drinking, always doing good, always having a good time. Well, we're up here in the broadcast booth and get to watch these drivers dominate out there on the racetrack, get that slide and drive and keep themselves pointed in the right direction, as Bones says still a lot to shake out with at least 2 stops each. Yeah, probably close to that. Probably at least 1 stop each, I would say, from this point on. I feel like we're going to see these drivers probably come down pit side and kind of break up this final bit of the run. So that's going to make things very, very interesting out there, as Kennard says Picklesheimer on a mission tonight. Yeah, Picklesheimer was definitely on a mission right there. He was flying out there on the racetrack. Now, we did have fresher tires than a lot of those drivers out there, and a lot of those drivers that were on the older tires unfortunately paid that price. And now we did see down pit road a bit of a mistake out of the 45 right of Dylan Picklesheimer, as he's going to have to start back here at the end of the line here. Him and Jeremiah Nelson, the 45 of Dylan Picklesheimer, the 40 of Jaden Newson, the number 84 of Jonathan Cogswell. Now he was able to get that free pass and back on the lead lap here. He's back in 11th. That's Christopher James. Unfortunately, the first car 1 lap down there in 12th, with James Abel, Brad Fulham, Michael Carter, Drew King, James Hudson, Daryl Johnson back there in 18th. Now I do believe he is still 1 lap down, as well as Michael Sheffield and Gavin Grubbs out there as well, and a few of these other drivers unfortunately now multiple laps down deeper in the field, like the 77 ride of Dalton Wicker here. Wicker in that lot 49, number 77 machine, all the way back in 24. Of Corey Dank still down pit road getting repairs done to that 17 ride. Adam Boughton still down pit side as well, getting repairs to that Coca-Cola Zero, number 94, as we get ready to go back to green flag racing here in this one. We get ready to go back to battle here. Now, do we see another long green flag run, or do we see this one kind of go, you know, a little bit more to a caution fest, a little bit more crazy out there on the speedway, as Dragon says, have been here for a while, laugh out loud. I'm also a lover of iRacing, but I play Call of Duty. Let's go, baby, let's go. Hey, Call of Duty, nothing wrong with a little Call of Duty, and iRacing, always so much fun, always such good racing out there on the speedway, and we're happy to have you up here in the broadcast booth and watching these drivers duke it out here this evening. As we get ready to go back to green flag racing, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, whether you're watching over on Facebook, over on YouTube, make sure you guys hit that like button, hit that share button, hit that follow and subscribe button, as here we go back to green flag racing here at the last great Colosseum, Bristol Motor Speedway, as the 36 ride, the 24-30 teammates once again at the front of the field and looking to try to run away with this one. Gage Wenzel, Jack Simpson, 1 and 2 on the speedway, with Timothy Watson navigating his way back up through the field, and he finds himself there in 3rd. Tyler Chronister up and into position number 4 here, as he's got Al Likens down to his inside. Scott Shive up and into 6. Some of these drivers that ran into issues, that had some problems and fell back early in this race, all of a sudden battling up here inside our top 10. When we look back and we see Max Cost and Scott Shive, Tyler Chronister, who got tied up early in one of those wrecks, in with Timothy Watson in the 28 ride, for these guys to rebound with those fresh tires over that long green flag run paid off and tenfold for them here this evening. Now, they're going to have 1 less set of tires, but I don't know if they're going to really need to worry about the tires too much here this evening, as Gage Wenzel continues to lead the way. Wenzel this time not running away with it, though, as Jack Simpson trying to hang right there with him, as that race EPI number 24 ride rolls there in position number 2. A solid run and performance here for the 99 of Tyler Chronister. Chronister right up and into position number 3, and looking to find himself another opportunity to jump up into the broadcast booth here this season. He talked about it last week that he wanted to start to build up that momentum, start to have these good runs, and maybe more and more trips up and into the booth. Is right there. He trying to get underneath of Jack Simpson. Unfortunately got a little tight there and then a little loose as he got back onto the throttle out of corner number 2, and luckily enough made no contact there with Jack Simpson, but does fall back into 4th, as Al Likens was right there, quickly able to pounce in on that opportunity and move right on back around the 99 ride. As Timothy Watson there in 5th, Max Cost back in 6th, Scott Scheib there in 7th with Jaden Newson back in 8th. Jeremiah Nelson and Dylan Picklesheimer rounding out our top 10 here. Picklesheimer will have to try to navigate his way through a lot of lap traffic here and see if he can try to race his way back up towards the front of the pack after a pit road penalty there during that caution flag. Is Jonathan Cogswell back in 11th. Brad Fulham there in 12th. Now I do believe Fulham is now actually scored as the first driver 1 lap down, as we only have 11 drivers left on the lead lap. That is absolutely insane. 11 drivers here, ladies and gentlemen, left on the lead lap here this evening, and that is going to make things very, very wild for each and every one of these drivers to try to battle and duke it out here in this one. As you do see Chris Sofeld rolling back out onto the racetrack. We did see Corey Denk as well slide back out there, unfortunately for both of those drivers. Multiple laps down here this evening, almost 20 laps down there for Corey, even more there, almost 30 laps or so, 26, 27 laps down there for Chris Sofeld as he is back down pit sign, getting some tires onto that number 11 ride, and there he goes. Looks like he's going to take that car back down behind pit wall. Knew that he was virtually out of this one. As out in front is Gage Wenzel. Wenzel continuing to lead the way as everybody came down pit road there, either on lap number 108, 109, or 107. For a lot of these drivers, knowing that you came down pit road, you got those fresh tires, you got all that speed and momentum. For other drivers that came down not during that caution flag, that came down and made those green flag pit stops, unfortunately for drivers like Dalton Wicker and Brian Fine, going even more laps down out there on the speedways. Right now, Dalton in that beautiful Lot 49 music machine, the under pressure machine, out there on the racetrack, rolls in 24th, and he is, I do believe, 5 laps down. Or 5 laps down out there on the racetrack, and that is very, very tough to try to bounce back from. Is even with a bunch of caution flags and everything else, unfortunately for these drivers, you know, there's so many other free passes that have to be dealt out before he can even really start to earn any laps back. He has to take waiver rounds and hope that everyone comes down pit side, and it's tough to do here. And there is not a lot of laps left in this race as we are over halfway through this event. We are already over halfway through this race, and we are inching closer and closer to that checkered flag here this evening as drivers just powering through these laps here this evening, man. Some great racing action, quick caution flags, getting these cars cleaned up, getting the racetrack cleaned up, and right back to the green flag, and we get to see them continuously non-stop battle out there on the speedways. A 1-second lead now for Gage Wenzel over his teammate. Back here in position number 2 as Jack Simpson rolls there in that second spot as Tyler Chronister back up and into 3rd here as he's worked himself back around Al Likens. Chronister showing that he's got a really fast car here this evening in that Walmart 99 ride, and man, he is looking to try to get back to the back bumper here this 24 ride, looking to see if he can make his move around Jack Simpson and try to hunt down our race leader and maybe put this Walmart ride up and into victory lane here himself. Likens there in 4th with Timothy Watson back in 5th. Max Goss there in 6th with Jaden Newson, Jeremiah Nelson, Dylan Picklesheimer, Scott Scheib, our top 10 out there on the speedway. Cogswell there in 11th with Brad Fulham back in 12th. He is currently the first car a lap down and in that free pass position right now. Michael Carter back there in 13th, and Chase Abel in that Noble American number 7 ride back in 14th. Sheffield, James, Drew King, Darrell Johnson, Anthony Ludi, and Aaron Spear rounding out our top 20 with Gavin Grubbs. James Hudson, who's now down pit road there in 23rd. The 8 rider Ken Mueller will slide up into 22nd as Dalton Wicker in 24th. Brian Fine, Corey Denk, Chris Sofeld, Adam Boughton, Zach Wilson, and J.J. Moore going to round out our field here in this one. But it's all Gage Wenzel as Wenzel out in front, continuing to look to pull away here and maybe put himself up and into victory lane here at the last great Coliseum, Bristol Motor Speedway, here this evening for the by NobleAmerican.com 133 here at Bristol. As ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, we're going to jump into a quick Peacemaker Gaming Crank It Up. So what I want you guys to do right now is crank up that volume and cheer on your favorite drivers here this evening as we will crank it up here on Peacemaker Gaming and give you guys the sights and sounds of the Hypershift Racing League here at Bristol Motor Speedway. Caution flag back out on the racetrack here. A crank it up caution flag here this evening as you get to ride on board here with our race leader Gage Wenzel, and that is the risk you take when you try to work yourself around some lap traffic. And for Gage Wenzel, he gets a great look at it, maybe even a little contact here himself. His contact up and in front of him here, as right there you see the 96 right Aaron Spear. Looks like he gets loose, maybe, it just looks like he gets loose right here. Coming out of corner number 4, maybe even gets a little help as the number 96 trying to keep himself pointed the right direction. We'll see if Cogswell gets a piece of him. Looks like maybe he will get a bit of a bump right there. Unfortunately, just sets this car up for failure out in corner number 4. Gets him very, very loose, and unfortunately trying to correct it, ends up coming up into the 88 ride. Spins that W Energy 88 up and into the outside fence here. Now you see everyone else just trying to get onto the binders to avoid it. Cogswell just getting down low, able to get through there, as you do see our race leader right there. Gets a little bit of contact in it, not too much. Hopefully not too much contact or damage for our race leader here, as that yellow flag gonna come back out. A Spear in the 88 parked up into that outside fence, in our first, or our 5th, 6th caution flag now of the day. Oh, baby. Another restart, though, and we did see drivers head down pit side. We do see Scott Shive and Jonathan Cogswell, Brad Fulham, Dylan Picklesheimer, Max Koss, all coming down pit road. Gage Wenzel rolling back out onto the racetrack here. Looks like he will hang on to the race lead in that number 36 machine, and we'll get ready to go back to battle. We'll get ready to duke it out here in this one. Simpson there behind him, Al Likens, and then it looks like Max Koss, Tyler Cronister, Jeremiah Nelson, Timothy Watson, Dylan Picklesheimer, Jaden Newson right there as well. Our top 10 is Cogswell, Fulham, and Scott Shive bringing out our top 12 on the racetrack, because I do believe Brad Fulham is our free pass driver. He's able to get that lucky dunk and back onto the lead lap here this evening for that number 21 machine, as we'll get them all stacked up, racked up, ready to go back to green flag racing. As we do see Chase Abel looking to take the wave around right here. Same with the 77 Dalton Wicker. Now that's going to give them older tires, a little less fuel, but that should give them a lap back, and that's going to actually put the Noble American number 7 Ryan Abel back onto the lead lap here this evening and ready to go back to green flag racing. So a good break there for Chase. Now back on the lead lap, hoping for a quick caution flag for Dalton Wicker. He's going to get at least one of his laps back here. Still needs to do that a couple more times. As Bones says they can make it from here, I think. Maybe with a little help with cautions. Yeah, I think with a little help from those caution flags and everything else, it's going to be very, very close for the fuel. I feel like they'll probably be able to make it. They may be, 5-10 laps shy if we don't see any caution flags. As here we go. Back to green flag racing and back to our Peacemaker Gaming. Crank it up here in the Buy Noble American .com 133 from Bristol Motor Speedway. It's a great battle here between teammates of the 24. Ryan gonna jump up and take that race lead away. Jack Simpson now to the point as Gage Wenzel slides back into position number 2. here for all these drivers. A beautiful crank it up session here this evening from the beautiful Bristol Motor Speedway here in the BuyNobleAmerican.com 133. As out on the racetrack, the Hypershift Racing League drivers continue to battle and continue to look to try to hunt down this 36 of Gage Wetzel. As Wetzel out in front, continue to lead the way as another great green flag session here. Another set of good green flag laps out there on the racetrack. These drivers doing a fantastic job continuing to just keep on rolling out there on the speedway. We're almost up to lap number 200 here. We are about 80% of the way through this race, about to hit that lap 200 marker here in a handful of laps. As you do see that 36 was going to put Jaden Newson a lap down as his teammate there now back into position number 12, and now the first car one lap down in the 24:30 Canadian Racing number 40 ride out there on the speedway. As Gage Wetzel out in front, going to continue to see some more and more lap traffic up there in front of him. Is not too far away. He's got a lot of drivers, a lot of pretty good drivers, pretty fast drivers out there on the racetrack just in front of them that are already one lap down and looking to try to keep themselves one lap down and potentially put themselves into a wave around position or potentially getting a free pass out there on the racetrack with some caution flags. But they are quickly about to go 2 laps down out there on the speedways. There is our race leader, Gage Wetzel. Wetzel able to move right on around that Noble American number 7 ride of Chase Abel. Had to come down pit road, took that wave around, stayed down on the racetrack. Unfortunately, he did go another lap down out there on the racetrack and then had to make that green flag pit stop, and now finds himself about 5-6 laps down here behind our race leader. Same with Dalton Wicker there in the 77 ride. So tough break for both of them as that strategy did not work out for them. They were hoping for some quick caution flags, and now even deeper back there in the field. As out in front, Gage Wetzel has about a 2-second lead between himself and his teammate Jack Simpson. As Simpson rolls there in position number 2 is Jeremiah Nelson in that Monster Energy 35 ride. He was worked himself now up and into position number 3. Al Likens back there in that 4th spot with Tyler Cronester rounding out our top 5. Dylan Picklesheimer, one of our race leaders here this evening, rolls there in the 6th position with Timothy Watson back in position number 7. Max Koss there in 8th with Jonathan Cogswell back in 9. Brad Fulham having a great run here in the 21 ride up inside the top 10 here this evening as Scott Shine there in 11th with Jaden Newson now our first car 1 lap down, and it's tight battle here, and unfortunately he continues to fall farther and farther behind. But you do see our race leader right here in sight of the 81 ride, and out in front Gage Wetzel looking to move that 81 of Scott Shive a lap down out there on the racetrack. As Shive goes a lap down, the 21 not too far in front of him, and then Cogswell a little farther forward here, but we could see less than 10 cars on the lead lap here by the end of this race, especially if we start to see some green flag pit stops happening out there on the racetrack. As you do see the 7 ride right there, that is the very fast cat of Chase Abel. Now Abel is multiple laps down, but for this number 7 ride, he does have the freshest set of tires out there on the racetrack. So if you see him make the move, go around our race leader, it is not for position. He's just getting one of his laps back. As you see this 36, he's trying to work himself through some of our lead lap drivers, as that's going to move the 81 of Scott Shive a lap down. Now working on the 21 of Brad Fulham, and Fulham unfortunately going to slide all the way back to 11th, and now a lap down here himself. As Scott Shive, Brad Fulham, both a lap down. Now on the racetrack is Gage Wetzel, works around both of them, and right now we only have 9 drivers left on the lead lap here this evening, ladies and gentlemen. Only 9 drivers left here to duke it out. Even if we see a caution flag, it will be only 10 drivers on the lead lap, as right now Scott Shive would get that free pass, the lucky dog, and back into the action here this evening. But Wetzel back here in the top spot. Last thing he wants to see now is a caution flag, as I do believe all these drivers should be good on gas. I don't think we're going to have to see them head down pit side and make a green flag pit stop or anything. So we'll have to keep an eye on that one, see what the fuel gauges are looking like, and see if we start to see some of these drivers that were last down on pit road around lap number 154 here this evening. If they do start to head down pit road, then we can see a lot of them coming in. And the fuel may be a lot tighter than what we know. It may be very, very close, but right now Gage Wenzel doesn't seem like he's slowing down one little bit. Doesn't seem like he's saving any fuel out there on the speedway, and now looking to put his teammate here, Jaden Newson, another lap down. Is Jaden about to go 2 laps down out there on the racetrack, and I do believe that is going to be our 13th place driver now, multiple laps down. Michael Carter right in front of him, could potentially go a couple laps down here himself in that Coca-Cola number 18 machine. And there's Jonathan Cogswell, our 9th place driver, trying to keep himself on the lead lap, trying to keep himself in front of that 36 ride, but it's going to be easier said than done, as Wenzel now out in front by over 3 seconds between himself and his teammate Jack Simpson. There's a big gap here between those guys, and then right there behind Jack Simpson, it is Jeremiah Nelson hanging on to 3rd. Al Likens a little farther back there in 4th. Dylan Picklesheimer in position number 5 right there. He's closing in on the back bumper of Al Likens for position number 4. Is Timothy Watson back there in 6. Chronister there in 7th. Max Cost in position number 8 with Cogswell unfortunately going a lap down as Gage already working himself around him. Gage Wenzel making quick work there of that 84 ride, and now going to put him a lap down as there goes Chase Abel. He's down to the inside here. Chase does have fresher tires, came down pit road during the green flag conditions about 10-15 laps or so ago, and now he's obviously got the fresher tires, the better car with those fresh tires, and able to get at least a lap back here. But unfortunately for Chase, still about 5-6 laps down behind that number 36 of Gage Wenzel, as Gage continuing to just roll a perfect race out there, continuing to edge farther and farther out in front here. Jack Simpson back in position number 2, trying to hang on to that 2nd spot here in that raceepi.com machine, as get that 35 right. Jeremiah Nelson, man, having another good run here this afternoon. Another strong car, and he looks down to the inside of that 24 right. Unfortunately, Cogswell right there and nowhere for him to go, so he has to slide back up the racetrack, and that's going to allow that 24, Jack Simpson, to police the car length or so farther ahead. Now the 35 will have to try to mount another challenge, looking to try to steal position number 2 away, and here he goes down to the inside, looking for a big run as the 24 on the outside group, not wanting to give it up, would love to come over the 1-2 finish here for him and his teammate in the 24-30, number 36 of Gage Wenzel, but that 35 right showing some good speed here late in this run. But out in front, no one better than Gage Wenzel, as Wenzel continues to lead the way. He inches closer and closer to the back bumper of our 8th place driver, as there is that Reese's 0 number 63 machine. That is Max Cost, the next driver up to potentially go a lap down here this afternoon, as we inch closer and closer to our checkered flag here this evening. As only about 25-28 laps left of racing action here this afternoon, and that's going to make things very, very wild. That's going to make things very interesting here, as you never quite know when we may see that caution flag. You never know when we can see this one come to a close out there on the speedway, and who knows, maybe we stay clean and green. Maybe fuel becomes an issue. There are so many possibilities and so many things that can go right, so many things that can go wrong out there on the racetrack in one split second here this evening. And at a racetrack like Bristol Motor Speedway, cautions definitely breed cautions, and we could see a lot of late race activity, a lot of late race issues for these drivers, as Gage Wenzel continues to lead the way. It's Jeremiah Nelson up into 2nd here. Jack Simpson slides back to 3rd. There's Al Likens in position number 4. He's continuing to look for more, as right behind him is a pair of fast cats out there on the racetrack. That 28 of Timothy Watson, the 45 of Dylan Picklesheimer, as they battle here. Al Likens gets up into the outside fence ever so slightly. You can throw a blanket here over our 4th, 5th, and 6th place drivers on the racetrack. As Max Cost, he's able to work himself around the 99 right at Tyler Chronister. Chronister quickly going to go back into 8th, and there goes our race leader, as there goes that number 36 of Gage Wenzel, going to put him a lap down. And now we do see Chronister. He's down onto the apron. Is he coming down pit road? Looks like he's going to miss it right there. We'll have to keep an eye on this, as he's trying to roll down on the apron here I wonder if he's going to head down pit side here in this 99 ride, and here it is. There he goes down pit side, but he goes a little too fast, slides through, and unfortunately going to have to cycle back around and try it all over again. That's a big mistake right there for that 99 ride, having himself such a good run, such a great race, and for Tyler Chronister, that is definitely going to potentially hurt him and take him outside the top 10 as he does find pit lane this time. Let's see if he can get down there. Looks like he does get onto the binders and able to get that thing stopped, turned into his pit stall here, and now going to get some service. Now back into the 10th position, and unfortunately this late in the race, one of our top runners here, one of those drivers that were down pit road on lap number 154 does come down pit side, so that's going to give us the telling story here of potentially fuel being an issue for these drivers, as Gage Wenzel out in front by about 4.2 seconds here between himself and Jeremiah Nelson. Jack Simpson there in third with Timothy Watson back and forth. Al Likens there in fifth with Dylan Picklesheimer there in sixth. Max Koss-Roland there in seventh. Unfortunately, he is now a lap down as well in that number 63 machine, as Gage Wenzel has lapped everyone except for our top six out there on the racetrack with 19 laps left to go here in this one. Does he catch some more of our front runners this afternoon? Is there more drivers that he may potentially put a lap down, as we do see Al Likens run into problems? Al slowed down low on the bottom of the racetrack, and we do not see the caution flag fly. We keep it clean and green, and for that Napa Auto Parts 100th anniversary gold machine, the Chase Elliott paint scheme out there on the racetrack for Al Likens, he does slide back to seventh, and he also goes a lap down, as now there's only 5 drivers left on the lead lap here this evening. 5 drivers left to duke it out here in this one, as Jeremiah Nelson still trying to just hunt down that 36 of Gage Wenzel, but continues to fall farther and farther behind. Timothy Watson now up and into position number 3, as Jack Simpson back to 4th. Dylan Picklesheimer here in position number 5, and quickly sees our race leader not too far back behind him here, but I'm not sure if Gage is going to be able to catch Dylan Picklesheimer and put him a lap down here tonight or not. But man, oh man, oh man, it has been the Gage Wenzel show this afternoon, as the 2440 Tom's Tasty Taters and Walleye Fish Sandwiches number 36 continues to lead the way. Now over 5 seconds, as look out, some issues on the back straightaway. Jeremiah Nelson slow there on the back stretch. He's going to fall farther behind our race leader, as you do see a little contact there between Nelson, I do believe it was the 99 run potentially of Tyler Chronister. Luckily enough here for Jeremiah Nelson, there was such a gap between himself and the 28 run of Timothy Watson that he's still able to hang on to position number 2. But now that's going to give Gage Wenzel about a 6.8 second lead here between himself and Jeremiah Nelson. Virtually a straightaway in a little bit here between himself and second now, so he can be on cruise control all the way down to the checker flag. He doesn't have to push the subject, doesn't have to put himself in the car in a tough situation, just gets to keep on rolling out there on the racetrack. Maybe start to save a little bit of fuel, making sure that that thing is not going to run out here in our closing laps. Is down into corner number 3, nice and easy, and out of corner number 4, we will see 10 more laps left to go. So 10 more laps of racing action here this evening, as the 36 of Gage Wenzel, virtually the reflection of perfection here this evening. Probably only about 10, 15, maybe 20 laps of this race he did not lead this evening. Every other lap though, he was out in front and continues to lead the way. And some of these fresher tires, drivers that were down pit road, are going to move back around him here, so they got the fresher tires, but they are multiple laps down, and unfortunately for them, it's not going to matter much here this late in the race. There's no way they're getting all those laps back, and they sit back multiple laps down, as that was the 40 of Jaden Newson, his teammate there, back scored in the 14th position. Unfortunately, all the way back here in 14th, he's just looking to try to keep on rolling out there on the racetrack, as Gage Wenzel right there in the top spot, going to click off another lap, and we inch even closer to our checkered flag here this evening. We did see Drew King come down pit road a couple of times. We saw Anthony Ludi able to make some passes there, as Drew King and company unfortunately headed down pit road a couple of times there on the racetrack, going multiple laps down now themselves. As Wenzel back down across the line, I do believe we're going to see 6 laps left to go here in this race. Here comes a couple more of those fresh tires as Tyler Chronister in the 99 ride, the 77 of Dalton Wicker. They're able to roll right on around that 36 of Gage Wenzel. Wenzel just keeping himself out of trouble, letting these guys go on by him, not going to put up a fight, not going to race them hard out there, knowing that they got much better race cars, much better tires right now on the racetrack, and there's no sense in trying to put himself into a tough situation or throw a block or get ran over from a lap car and see that caution flag fly and potentially lose this race. As Gage Wenzel out in front by just under 6 seconds now between himself and Jeremiah Nelson. Timothy Watson right there in third. He's trying to hunt down that 35, right? Looking to try to put himself up another spot here on the racetrack is Dylan Pinkelsheimer and Jack Simpson. They're battling door to door here. This is a battle for position number 4 on the racetrack. Two of our lead lap cats side by side out there on the speedway, and you see Dalton Wicker right there, the 18 ride. They're trying to figure out how they can navigate this and race through there as they don't want to poke their nose into that fight with lead lap drivers. Am I having a stroke? Lead lap drivers there fighting in front of them, as unfortunately Jack Simpson does slide back into position number 5 as there's the white flag one more time around here for that number 36 of Gage Wenzel. Wenzel down the back straightaway for the final time here this evening from Bristol Motor Speedway in the by NobleAmerican.com 133. It's Gage Wenzel who picks up the checker flag here again in the beautiful and always amazing Hypershift Racing League. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, give it up for our race winner, Gage Wenzel. As Wenzel gets it done, a dominating performance here this evening, and he will get ready to celebrate on the front straightaway as he picks up the dub and pulls his 24-30 ride up and into victory lane here at Bristol Motor Speedway. Jeremiah Nelson going to come home in second, and Timothy Watson back there in third with Dylan Pinkelsheimer and Jack Simpson rounding out our top 5 here this evening. But it's all this 36. It's been all Gage Wenzel right from virtually the drop of the green flag. It has been his race to lose, and for a little while looked like maybe Pinkelsheimer hit the strategy perfectly and was gonna pull away with this one. I think some mistakes down pit side unfortunately cost him potentially this win this evening, and that track position unfortunately just could not get it back. As you see the 36 gonna bounce it off the wall right there. He's not gonna stop. He's gonna continue to celebrate after picking up a big win and a big dub here this evening in the Hypershift Racing League, as we'll get ready now to pull in our top 3 up and into the broadcast booth for their post-race interviews, man. Post-race interviews coming up next here, as each and every one of these drivers is going to slide up into the broadcast waiting room, and we'll get ready to see what they got to say about this amazing run here this evening. So here we go, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, our race winner, Gage Wenzel. Hey, Gage, it's Aaron up here in the Peacemaker Broadcasting booth. Did you get a copy?
Yes, sir.
Gage, man, what a run, what a drive here in this one. Obviously making some quick work out there on the racetrack here at Bristol Motor Speedway, laying down some great laps, and not seeing a lot of caution flags was allowing you to just continue to keep hitting your marks, getting that rhythm, putting a lot of drivers a lap down out there on the racetrack, and then late in this race, you're out in front, you're still just putting these guys a lap down, you're up, and you see your teammate Jack Simpson, Dylan Pinkelsheimer, a lot of these guys battling in front of you, knowing that you only had a few laps left to go, and knowing that you had a massive lead between yourself and Jeremiah Nelson. You're just on cruise control, coming home in a dominating win here tonight in the Buy Noble America BuyNobleAmerican.com 133 here this evening. Gage, take us back through this race and what's going through your mind right now as you're able to pull that ride up and into the Bristol Motor Speedway victory lane.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I'm pumped. I feel like we should have won a lot more this year. Ups and downs, whether it be strategy, bad yellows, like unfortunate yellows. But, man, we've been so fast. I think we led over 200 laps tonight, myself. Jack was up there. Jaden had a good run tonight. I didn't put, like, a ton of work in, but I love this place, man. It is my jam. I don't know what it is about the Cup car here, but I love it. And, yeah, at the end there with Dylan and him, I was like, just don't wreck. I was like, please. And I like the last 4 laps, I just laid it off and let them do what they, let them fight. Because, like, I mean, it's the last 3 to go. And, yeah, I'm ecstatic, though, man. And it's good to be back up here with you.
Absolutely, brother. Well, it was a heck of a run, a heck of a drive there. Now, we did see some different pit strategies playing out here this evening. Obviously, it took a little while for you to finally head down pit road for the first time here this evening, but some of those other drivers in those early caution flags did come down pit side. We saw Dylan Picklesheimer, virtually the only driver here this evening to really jump up and make the pass around you besides your teammate here this evening to take that race lead away. And it seemed like maybe this pit strategy there for a little while was going to work out for that number 45 ride, and then mistakes down pit road for him, and all of a sudden he went to the back of the pack and had to try to navigate his way back through that traffic and just could never get back up to you. As once you got that fresh air again, once you got rolling there at the front of the field, you never looked back.
Yeah, like on lap 1, I took the lead, and I just felt like in practice I was blowing by the fast cars, and I'm like, if I can qualify well and manage this, and I thought it was all going to go up in smoke, so whatever wreck I was almost in with the lap cars, and I was catching like the draft train of like 8 or 9 guys, but it was really good, and I felt like it was a long race. Like there was a green flag run there for like 100 laps at the end, so really clean all in all for a Bristol race. I mean, I'm so happy with it. Wanted to pull. Corey snagged us at that. He's quick in qualifying, so, but all in all, a great evening, and I'm sorry.
It's all good, brother, man. Gage, a solid run, a solid day here at the Speedway. Yeah, another quick one here, man. You guys made quick work of this race. Now, obviously, not seeing a abundance of caution flags and everything else that normally tends to slow us down quite a bit up here in the booth. But out there on the racetrack, man, just a lot of good green flag runs, a couple timely caution flags there allowing you to come down pit road the first time, and then obviously getting that last pit stop in there with about just under 100 laps left to go here in this race. Now, how tight were you guys on fuel here late in this race?
Oh, I think we had like 15, 20 to the good. It wasn't much that. It was, can you save the tire there? And I think like, I don't know what lap Jack started hitting his wall. I think it was like 70 into it. He hit a wall, obviously, and went from second most of the race to 5th. So it was really nothing about fuel tonight. I got a little worried, right, when Dylan passed me and he had more fuel. I'm like, uh-oh. But aside from that, I don't think we made a pit call wrong tonight. I don't think we made a single restart wrong. It was a good points day for myself, the team, so all in all, a great day.
Absolutely. It's always a great day when you're able to jump up and into victory lane, and especially when it's here at the last great Coliseum, Bristol Motor Speedway, man. So many historic moments and amazing moments in the NASCAR series here at Bristol. And here tonight, we get to see another one as you're able to park yourself up and into victory lane. Gage, who would you like to thank for such an amazing run and great performance out there on the racetrack?
I got to thank the title sponsor of this race car. These people are great. They're great people. Tom Stacy Taters and Walleye Fish Sandwiches. If you're ever in Indiana at fairs, check them out. They're amazing. All the people that watch me, everyone else in the car, my parents, my grandparents, my girlfriend, they all support me in everything I do, and I'm blessed. And thank you up here in the booth, and thanks for putting on a great show tonight.
Absolutely, brother. Well, Gage, great run, great drive. Congratulations on the checkered flag. And now don't party too hard down there in victory lane, as we'll see you back out on the racetrack again next Thursday.
Yep. Thank you, man.
Absolutely. Enjoy the rest of your night.
Thank you. You too.
Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, give it up there for our race winner, Gage Wenzel. Wenzel picking up the dub and pulling that 36 ride up and into victory lane here this evening. But now we'll get ready to pull in our second place driver, that 35 ride of Jeremiah Nelson. Jeremiah coming home here in position number 2. A very solid run and a great drive here tonight for that number 35 machine. Let's get him up here into the broadcast booth. Hey, Jeremiah, it's Aaron up here in the Peacemaker Broadcasting booth. Did you get a copy?
Yeah, I got a copy.
Jeremiah, man, what a run, what a drive here for you in this one. Obviously, lots of ups and downs, and you're able to kind of battle yourself through there, use some of that track position, some of that pitch strategy, and then late in this race, just working on having those better tires later in the run, and you're able to just start picking them off and race your way up here into position number 2. You're trying to hunt down that 36 of Gage Wenzel. Then, obviously, some lap traffic on the way there. You guys got tied together down on the, I believe it was the back straightaway, and we saw you on the apron just trying to get that car, rolling again, and unfortunately lost in What, 3-4 seconds right there? You were able to gain it all back late in the races. Gage was just kind of on cruise control, but man, oh man, oh man, it was such a great run for you. Watching you battle yourself up through that traffic, and late race caution flag, man, you could have been in the right place at the right time.
Yeah, I'd say I probably passed more cars than anybody tonight. I had 2 penalties on the first 2 stops. Had to go to the back. The car, I settled in, and the car was pretty good. I would have liked to have been with him on that last run, you know what I'm saying, and see what I could have done with him. But Gage, he was fast, I'm thankful for these guys letting me come run. I'm thankful and happy to be here.
Absolutely, brother, and always a good time when you're able to park your Monster Energy ride up and onto the podium here, especially at a racetrack like Bristol Motor Speedway, man. Take us back through some of that action. Obviously, a lot of side-by-side, 2 wide, a little bit of 3 wide out there on the speedway, and then just dealing with the, inverse of different, strategies out there. A lot of slower cars on older tires and faster cars on newer tires, and then vice versa. There's late in the race, you guys were on the older tires compared to a lot of these drivers that had already made a late race pit stop here this evening, man. How do you deal with that? How do you navigate that and still try to keep yourself, in contention for potentially a win?
Yeah, I wish I almost got wrecked there. It was like 20 to go. I almost got wrecked by one of them and lost a lot of time. And I mean, I think I could have been with him because his car fell off probably the last 10 laps tremendously. And you never know what could happen. I mean, it's Bristol. You got to pick your battles, man. It's just one of those things.
Absolutely. Well, Jeremiah, great run, great drive here tonight in that 35 machine, man. Is there anyone else you'd like to thank for such a great performance out there on the racetrack?
Yeah, I want to thank the boys at Slightly Dangerous Racing before I go.
Beauty,
And,
Jeremiah.
and thank you.
Oh, absolutely, brother. No better place to be than up here at the broadcast booth watching you guys duke it out. And we can't wait to see you back out there on the racetrack next Thursday. Hopefully right back up here in the broadcast booth and maybe one spot better and up into victory lane yourself.
Thank you, brother.
Absolutely. Enjoy the rest of your night.
You too.
Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, give it up there for our second place finisher, Jeremiah Nelson. Jeremiah coming home there in position number 2. Great run, great drive there for that number 35 machinist. We'll get ready now to pull in our third place finisher, that 28 rider, Timothy Watson. Watson coming home here in third. Let's get him up and in to the broadcast booth here this evening. Hey, Timothy, it's Aaron up here in the Peacemaker Broadcasting booth. Do you get a copy?
Yeah, I got you.
Timmy, man, what a run, what a drive here for you in this one, man. Obviously a very fast car out there on the speedway early on, though you fell back a little bit, and then you run into some problems there early in this race, and you're able to kind of battle back from that, using a little bit of that pit strategy and those tires, and all of a sudden you put yourself back into a position late in this race where there's a lot of drivers a lap down. You guys are able to get a couple free passes down pit road without really losing much track position, and then late in this one, man, just picking them off and working yourself up here into the top 3, trying to hunt down that 35 right of Jeremiah Nelson for that second spot out there on the racetrack, man. Take us back through this one, and what's going to go through your mind right now as the dust settles here in Bristol?
Yeah, I mean, I had no short run speed at all, so my best bet was just to save tires and hold on until everybody else burned their stuff up. And unfortunately, early on, that put me back with the guys who were more interested in wrecking than racing. So, I got caught up in a couple incidents, but when we would get on a really long run like the last one we had, it was really good. I didn't have the short run that I needed, and right there at the end, I almost got Jeremiah, but I ran out of gas, so I just had to coast back to the start-finish line. So I kind of missed it on that part, but we're trying to get everything we could out of it.
Absolutely. Well, even running out of gas out there on the racetrack and coasting down across the line, you're still able to hang on to the third place run here, man. Take us kind of back through this race, and did you expect to have this good of a run? Did you expect to see so many, green flag runs out there where you were allowed and able to take advantage of your car and drive up here through the field?
Yeah, I mean, you never know coming into these races if it's going to go green or not, but I was really glad that it did because I was, well, like you said, able to take advantage of it. I knew if we went green for a really long time, I would be good, but, you can never count on that. So I was just holding on for, until everybody else started slowing down and slowly picking them off.
Absolutely. Well, you slowly pick them off, and you work yourself right up here into the broadcast booth. Timmy, who would you like to thank for such a great run and strong performance here this evening in that Valvoline number 28 machine?
Really, just my team. I mean, they help me stay in the race whenever things like that happen early on in the race, like what happened to me, and they help calm me down and everything. So it makes it a lot easier when you have good teammates who can talk to you.
Absolutely. Teamwork makes the dream work, and here tonight you're able to find yourself back up and onto the podium. Timothy, congrats on the great run, and we can't wait to see you back out there on the racetrack next Thursday, maybe right back up here into the broadcast booth.
Yeah, thank you. Hopefully I can get up here more often now.
Yeah, absolutely, brother. Always love to see you guys jump up here and into the broadcast booth and start to build that momentum, and maybe one of these nights see you back in maybe potentially into victory lane.
Yeah, I sure hope so.
Beauty, enjoy the rest of your night.
You too.
Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, give it up there for our third place finisher, Timothy Watson. Watson coming home there in position number 3. Great run, solid drive, solid performance there for that 28 ride here this evening. But ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, we can't thank you guys enough for tuning in. Everyone coming in and showing the love here in this one. All the likes, the comments, the shares. I appreciate each and every single one of you guys for showing the love here in that way. And if you haven't already, it's not too late. Even if you're rewatching the broadcast, make sure you guys help us out, man. Hit that thumbs up button on the broadcast right now. Drop a couple comments, and definitely, if you haven't, hit that follow button if you're watching over on Facebook or Twitch, and hit that subscribe button if you're watching over on YouTube. Become a brand new member of the Peacemaker family here today, and turn those bell notifications on, because you never want to miss the racing action here on Peacemaker Gaming. As the Hypershift Racing League will be back in action next Thursday evening, and we'll see these same drivers duking it out and battling again next week. Unfortunately, that will do it for us here tonight. We'll be back in action and back to battle tomorrow evening as our Trinity Series with the Dirt Street Stocks in the Dirt Warrior Racing League will get back underway and put on another great race. Sean O'Kee says, awesome job on the announcement. I always appreciate that. Always appreciate you guys showing up and having some fun up in the chat as well, not only congratulating and cheering on your favorite drivers, but just showing the love all evening long. We appreciate each and every one of you. But that is going to do it for us here this evening, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. We'll get you back up here in the broadcast booth tomorrow afternoon, and I can't wait to see each and every one of you back up and in the grandstands and cheering these drivers on. But thank you all for watching. Thank you all for tuning in. We'll see you all in the next one. Peace and love, babe. Peace and love, ladies and gentlemen.
Rubber burning, engine screaming, it's a madhouse. Hypershift racing, every driver wild and riled out. Peacemaker broadcast, a crowd tuned in tight, watching steel beasts fight under stadium lights. Pedal to the floor, we ain't pumping no brakes. Speed demons in the zone, leaving fire in their wake. On the edge of chaos, ain't no room to fake. Peacemaker screens lit for the glory we take. Tires spinning rhythm, a dangerous ballet. Hypershift gladiators in an asphalt ballet. Drafted on the curves, it's a calculated gamble. One wrong move leaves your dreams dismantled. Crowd roaring, engines roaring, echoes break the sky. Broadcast live for the legends who never fear to fly. Checker flags beckon, it's the road we obey. Adrenaline profits, in the fast lane we stay. Pedal to the floor, we ain't pumping no brakes. Speed demons in the zone, leaving fire in their wake. On the edge of chaos, ain't no room to fake. Peacemaker screens lit for the glory we take. Pedal to the floor, we ain't pumping no brakes. Speed demons in the zone, leaving fire in their wake. On the edge of chaos, ain't no room to fake. Peacemaker screens lit for the glory we take. Time spinning rhythm, a tempo, the glory we take. Time spinning rhythm, a tempo, the glory we take. Tire spinning rhythm, a dangerous ballet. Hypershift gladiators in an asphalt ballet. Drafted on the curves, it's a calculated gamble. One wrong move leaves your dreams dismantled. Crowd roaring, engines roaring, echoes break the sky. Broadcast live for the legends who never fear to fight. Checker flags beckon, it's the road we obey. Adrenaline profits, in the fast lane we stay. Pistons pump like heartbeats, it's mechanical insanity. Hypershift warriors bending physics with calamity. Peacemaker feeds a frenzy to every fan's delight. When the lead's in the zone, it's a glorious fight. Pedal to the floor, we ain't pumping no brakes. Speed demons in the zone, leaving fire in their wake. On the edge of chaos, ain't no room to fake. Peacemaker screens lit for the glory we take. Time spinning rhythm, a tempo, the glory we take. Time spinning rhythm, a tempo, the glory we take. Rubber burning, engine screaming, it's a madhouse. Hypershift racing, every driver wild and riled out. Peacemaker broadcast, a crowd tuned in tight, watching steel beasts fight under stadium lights. Pedal to the floor, we ain't pumping no brakes. Speed demons in the zone, leaving fire in their wake. On the edge of chaos, ain't no room to fake. Peacemaker screens lit for the glory we take. Tire spinning rhythm, a dangerous ballet. Hypershift gladiators in an asphalt ballet. Drafted on the curves, it's a calculated gamble. One wrong move leaves your dreams dismantled. Crowd roaring, engines roaring, echoes break the sky. Broadcast live for the legends who never fear to fly. Checker flags beckon, it's the road we obey. Adrenaline profits, in the fast lane we stay. Pedal to the floor, we ain't pumping no brakes. Speed demons in the zone, leaving fire in their wake. On the edge of chaos, ain't no room to fake. Peacemaker screens lit for the glory we take. Pedal to the floor, we ain't pumping no brakes. Speed demons in the zone, leaving fire in their wake. On the edge of chaos, ain't no room to fake. Peacemaker screens lit for the glory we take. Time spinning rhythm, a tempo, the glory we take. Time spinning rhythm, a tempo, the glory we take. Tire spinning rhythm, a dangerous ballet. Hypershift gladiators in an asphalt ballet. Drafted on the curves, it's a calculated gamble. One wrong move leaves your dreams dismantled. Crowd roaring, engines roaring, echoes break the sky. Broadcast live for the legends who never fear to fight. Checker flags beckon, it's the road we obey. Adrenaline profits, in the fast lane we stay. Pistons pump like heartbeats, it's mechanical insanity. Hypershift warriors bending physics with calamity. Peacemaker feeds a frenzy to every fan's delight. When the lead's in the zone, it's a glorious fight. Pedal to the floor, we ain't pumping no brakes. Speed demons in the zone, leaving fire in their wake. On the edge of chaos,